She looked down at her newborn daughter. The baby girl was only a few weeks old, sleeping peacefully, and then Wu Zetian smothered her. Her own child stopped breathing, lifeless. Then she screamed for the guards. "The Empress killed my baby." It was a lie, a calculated murder, the first of many. By the time Wu Zetian was done, she would be the only woman in 4,000 years of Chinese history to rule as emperor. Not empress, emperor. And the path to that throne was paved with bodies. This is the story of the most ruthless woman who ever lived. Wu Zetian was born in 624 AD during China's Tang Dynasty, the golden age of Chinese civilization. But she wasn't born into royalty. Her father was a timber merchant who got rich supplying wood to the empire. When Wu was 14, her beauty caught the attention of Emperor Taizong, and she was brought to the Forbidden City as a fifth-rank concubine, the lowest tier. In the Imperial harem, there were hundreds of women competing for the emperor's attention. Most concubines lived and died in obscurity. Wu Zetian had other plans. For 12 years, Wu remained a low-ranking concubine. Emperor Taizong barely noticed her, but Wu noticed someone else, the emperor's son, Prince Li Zhu, the heir to the throne. While other concubines competed for the dying emperor's attention, Wu quietly cultivated a relationship with the prince. It was forbidden. Concubines were supposed to become Buddhist nuns after the emperor died. But when Taizong finally died in 649 AD, Prince Li Zhu became Emperor Gaozong, and he couldn't forget Wu Zetian. Wu was sent to a Buddhist monastery as tradition demanded. Her head was shaved. She wore nun's robes. For most women, this was the end. But Wu Zetian wasn't most women. Within a year, Emperor Gaozong, now the most powerful man in China, defied 1,000 years of tradition and brought her back to the palace. Not as a concubine, as his consort. The court was scandalized, but Wu was back, and now she had real power. The only thing standing between her and the throne was the current Empress Wang. That problem would be solved very soon. Wu gave birth to a daughter in 654 AD. Empress Wang, trying to improve relations with her rival, came to visit the baby. It was a gesture of peace. Wu welcomed her warmly. The Empress cooed over the infant, held her briefly, then left. Moments later, Wu entered the nursery alone. What happened next, no one knows for certain. But when the emperor came to see his daughter shortly after, Wu was screaming. The baby was dead, suffocated, and Wu, sobbing, pointed to one suspect, Empress Wang, the only other person who'd been in the room. Emperor Gaozong was devastated. Wu, through tears, told him what happened. The Empress had been alone with the baby. She must have done it out of jealousy. There was no proof, no witnesses, just Wu's word. But Gaozong loved Wu, and he wanted to believe her. Within months, Empress Wang was stripped of her title, thrown in prison, and replaced by Wu Zetian. She was now Empress of China, and she had gotten away with murdering her own child. But Wu wasn't done. Former Empress Wang sat in prison for months, along with consort Xiao, another rival Wu had eliminated. One day, Emperor Gaozong, perhaps feeling guilty, asked to see them. When Wu heard about this, she moved quickly. She had both women brought out, beaten 100 times with heavy rods until their backs were shattered, then had their hands and feet cut off. They were thrown into wine vats to die slowly. As former Empress Wang lay dying, she cursed Wu Zetian. "May you be reborn as a mouse, and may Wu be reborn as a cat, so I can tear her throat out for eternity." Wu heard about the curse. She banned all cats from the palace for the rest of her life. Even she had superstitions. As Empress, Wu didn't just influence the emperor, she controlled him. Gaozong suffered from debilitating headaches and dizziness. Some historians think Wu poisoned him slowly, keeping him weak and dependent. She began attending court sessions, sitting behind a screen, making decisions in his name. When officials objected, they disappeared. Some were exiled, others were executed for treason. Wu built a network of secret police, eyes and ears throughout the empire. No one was safe. Speak against Empress Wu and you'd be reported by your own servants. In 683 AD, Emperor Gaozong died, officially from his long illness. Unofficially, we'll never know. Wu's son, Li Jie, became Emperor Zhongzong. He lasted 6 weeks. When he tried to make decisions without consulting his mother, Wu had him deposed and exiled. She replaced him with his younger brother, Li Dan, as Emperor Ruizong. He was smarter. He did exactly what Wu told him. For 6 years, Wu ruled through her puppet son, but she was tired of the charade. In 690 AD, Wu Zetian did something no woman in Chinese history had ever dared. She forced her son to abdicate, and she declared herself emperor, not empress dowager, not regent, emperor. Wu's coronation was spectacular. She declared herself holy and divine emperor and renamed the dynasty from Tang to Zhou, her own dynasty. She was 67 years old. For the next 15 years, Wu Zetian ruled China as its sole emperor. She promoted based on merit, not birth. She expanded the civil service examinations so commoners could become officials. She commissioned Buddhist temples and massive infrastructure projects. Under her rule, China prospered. The economy grew, the borders were secure. She was, by many measures, an excellent ruler. She just happened to murder anyone who threatened her. But Wu's reign had a dark side. Her secret police grew more powerful and brutal. She encouraged citizens to inform on each other. Accusation boxes were placed throughout the empire where anyone could anonymously report traitors. Most accusations were false, settling personal grudges. But Wu's agents investigated them all. Thousands were imprisoned, tortured, or executed. Wu created a climate of fear where no one could be trusted. Your servant might report you, your neighbor, even your family. It was efficient, it was terrifying, and it kept Wu in absolute power. By 700 AD, Wu was 76 years old and her health was declining. She became infatuated with 2 younger brothers, the Zhang brothers, who became her favorites and advisors. The court was disgusted but said nothing. Wu was still emperor, but her grip was weakening. Her sons, who she'd sidelined for decades, saw their opportunity. A conspiracy formed, not among strangers, but among her own family. They would restore the Tang dynasty, and that meant removing Wu. In 705 AD, Wu's son, Li Shan, led a group of officials into the palace. They killed the Zhang brothers on the spot. Then they entered Wu's chambers. The woman who had murdered her way to the throne, who had ruled the largest empire on earth, who had survived countless conspiracies, was now powerless. She was 81 years old, sick and alone. They didn't kill her. They forced her to abdicate and restored her son as Emperor Zhongzong, the same son she'd deposed 22 years earlier. Wu Zetian, the only woman to rule China as emperor, was removed from power by her own family. Wu Zetian died 10 months later in December 705 AD. She was 81. Her son, showing either mercy or calculated political wisdom, gave her a proper burial alongside Emperor Gaozong. He had her imperial title posthumously changed from emperor to empress. Even in death, they tried to erase what she'd done. Her tombstone stands in Shanxi province to this day. It's called the Wordless Stele, a massive stone monument with no inscription. No one knows if Wu ordered it that way, or if her son couldn't decide what to write. How do you summarize a woman who murdered her own baby to become emperor? Who ruled brilliantly but brutally? Who broke every rule and somehow made it work for 50 years? So who was Wu Zetian? A monster who killed her own child to frame a rival? A brilliant leader who ruled China through its golden age? A feminist icon who shattered the ultimate glass ceiling? A tyrant who ruled through fear and secret police? The answer is all of the above. She was complex, contradictory, ruthless, and effective. For 1,300 years after her death, Chinese historians, all men, called her a villain, a witch, a usurper. But modern scholars see something different. A woman who played a game designed for men, using the only weapons available to her, and won. She remains the only woman in 4,000 years of Chinese history to rule as emperor. Not empress, not regent, emperor. Subscribe for more stories of powerful figures history tried to erase or simplify. Because the truth is never simple. And Zetian proved that power has no gender, only ambition and consequences.